Okay, and we are back. First of all, I want to, for those of you that are watching or listening for the very first time, or if you're a frequent listener, caller, comment, or whatever, I actually got a message today. I got a commenter who messaged me privately and said they had missed a particular day video. I was doing them daily for a little bit and I backed off, but there was just one particular day where I had gone live and done the podcast and the video and everything, and they had missed it. So to fix that, do me a favor, and you just know the drill. Hey, Scott, brother, I appreciate you for tuning in. You know the drill. If you are a podcast listener, do me a favor and go over on iTunes and leave a rating and subscribe. And I don't do this push very often because I would think if you guys like the content, you're going to do it anyways, but if you're a Spotify person, we're on Spotify, go over and subscribe. If you are an Alexa person, I've got one right over there, it's probably going to pop up here in a second, you can listen to it on Alexa. If you're an iTunes person, subscribe and leave a rating. See, you know what I was talking about? And if you're a YouTube person, obviously go over there and subscribe and leave a rating also. This content, to me, is very valuable, and they're just based on life lessons I've learned, and I want these lessons to get into your brain so you don't make some of the same mistakes I did. Okay, today's lesson is going to be based on something I saw in a financial management group. I'm a big fan of a piece of financial software called YNAB. Y-N-A-B. It stands for You Need a Budget. And basically, really quick, what this software does, and I have no tie into the software, what this software does is allows you to, when you have money in the bank, to allocate that money into different budget areas. And trust me, this entire video is not going to be about money management, but it allows you to allocate that money in different areas so you are spending basically every dollar of your paycheck. Not literally spending it, but that old adage of, you've got $100 and you divide that up equally into some envelopes where you're going to allocate it, basically kind of like pre-spending your money. Well, YNAB does that also, except for it does it virtually. So if your paycheck is $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, when that comes in the bank, you use this really cool software called YNAB to allocate that. And, $30 goes towards car repairs, $20 goes towards the electric bill, $100 goes towards vacation. You basically pre-spend all that. So my whole point is this software is just really good about helping you allocate your money when you get it in. And by the end of your paycheck day, when you've worked with YNAB, you should have, quote unquote, spent all that money into all the buckets that you want them in. So anyway, really cool software. But I was in there in a discussion, I think it was last night, and a really smart lady popped in and she said that she was starting to use YNAB and she didn't know how to solve the particular problem. And the problem was that she had a bad habit of taking a block of money, I think it was for her business, and putting it aside into another account, and then she'd know it was there, but then she would spend it. And I think it was for taxes or something like that, if I recall correctly. And then she wanted to know, how would this software help her not spend that money? So she was basically spending her business tax money. And trust me, if you're an entrepreneur and you've been tight on funds, we've all been there. We've definitely done that before. We've dug in to the allocation that we set aside for money like that. And again, this entire show this week or today is not going to be about money. I promise you, there's just a really good lesson here. And everyone was giving her, software solutions. Well, use YNAB to do this, or make sure you pre-allocate this in YNAB, or as soon as you set that aside in taxes in your bank account, go over in YNAB and do the same thing. And my response, like most things people completely disagreed with, and my response I thought was a much better response, which gets into a success sin that we all commit. And that is the one of discipline. And I'm not going to, I am going to beat on your ass about discipline. Her problem was that she was spending the money. It wasn't that she lacked a piece of software to help her not spend the money. Her problem is she knew that this money was set aside for taxes and she was spending it anyways. And that's not anything that a piece of software can solve. And this backs into a word which I absolutely believe in. Hey, Sierra, darling, good to see you tune in. This backs into a word I absolutely believe in, and I fail at constantly. I have no problem admitting I am not a huge success in this area, but I do know that when I apply this law to my life, that things just work out so much better. And so the title of this particular session is one of the sins of success, or the sins of lack of success. And that is this word discipline. That was this lady's problem. She didn't have the discipline to not spend that money. She was physically allocating the money. She was physically putting it aside in a different place, but she did not have the discipline, the wherewithal, the head strength, whatever you want to call it, to not spend that money. And if you think about your life or your business, there are some areas right now where you are committing this same sin. Whether, those of you that need to write a book, hallelujah, that's me right there. Or for those of you that need to do marketing on a particular level repetitively, or for those of you that want to be better at fitness, or for those of you who, you can pick a number of 2,000 or 5,000 things that we want to do better, and we sit there on our ass every single day in front of our computer, in front of our phone, in front of our pizza, in front of our whatever. We say, I really wish, I want to, I wish I could. And the problem that we're all having, and like I said, I'm so guilty of this sin also. The problem that we're all having is I don't think we really know what true discipline is. And discipline to me is not every single day waking up and wishing that you had something. I wish I did this. I'm going to go to the library and read a book on this. I'm going to browse a couple of web pages on this. To me, what discipline is, and it very much aligns with the word focus, is that when you basically put aside everything else and you realize that right now, based on the goals that you have for your life or your business or your personal life, right now, I must absolutely focus on this one thing at this one time and put everything else aside. So if, for me, for example, at the gym, you guys have seen me talk about this before, I have several regular appointments on my calendar at 6 p.m. where I go to the gym. And to me, my health and fitness is so important. That is an overwhelming thing that takes place at 6 p.m., overwhelming exercise. And I have to admit, sometimes at 6:15, 6:30, but I know that I need to go to the gym X times per day. This is not an option. And for your success, if you kind of think about this, you kind of have to think about it the same way. Is it whether it's budgeting money for a particular thing, or it's success, or it's your business, or it's your health, you have to make it a non-option. When something becomes a non-option, then you develop this habit of discipline. And discipline means that you know what you want to do, and you know you're going to do it, and you know the steps it takes to get there. And you have to be careful because there are so many things in this life that are going to get in the way of that discipline. They're going to want to block you. They're going to want to interrupt you. And we're really good at setting up things to kill that discipline. We're really good at, watching Facebook Lives, although I love every single one of you. We're really guilty at jumping on YouTube. We're really guilty at responding to pop-ups that come up on our phone. And there are so many things in this world that are killing this amazing habit of discipline that we need. So do me a favor, after you listen to this podcast, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, or after you watch this video, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take a small amount of time, maybe 10 minutes, shouldn't be any more than that, and I want you to write down the absolute top priorities in your life. And you know what? Keep the list very small. I do not want a long list. 5. There should be no more than the top 5 things in your life that you absolutely must do. These are non-options. Whether it's, for me, like learn to fly an airplane, or travel here and do this, or have enough money to do this, or get in particular shape, you need to write these down and put these someplace right in front of your face where you can see them every single day. And you can't see it, but this is my office, and over here behind my monitor and everything, I have sticky notes and things up on the wall, the things that I believe I absolutely must do. And those things kind of help me back into my disciplines for the day. And again, I'm not flawless at this, but every single day I am struggling to focus on things, and so many things want to interrupt me. I'm focusing on growing my business, but somebody else's business, emergency or fire, may kind of come and kick me in the balls and interrupt my particular discipline. And that's going to happen. But for those of you that truly want to be successful, and for those of you who have that overwhelming need, not just the desire, not just the want. I mean, there's a difference. We can have desire, we can have want. But when you make those things so damn important that they rule out everything else, that you're willing to sacrifice other things to hit those disciplines and to hit those goals, then your life will end up shaping the way you want. So another good attribute of discipline that I want to share with you, and this will be my last point before we sign off here, is discipline is also having a lot of control over your calendar. And there are probably 100 areas where I could show you how to get more disciplined. And if you ever want some more tips on this, please feel free to message me. But discipline is, to me, is looking at your calendar and deciding what is going to go in every single block of every single day. These are the days I'm going to write. These are the days I'm going to exercise. These are the days I'm going to hang out with my friends and, get buzzed. These are the days I'm going to go on a walk. These are the days I'm going to study. These are the hours. That is a huge part of discipline for me. I've often heard the cliche that if you want to know how successful somebody is, look at their bank account. But one of the other ones I really like is if you want to know how successful or how disciplined somebody is, look at their calendar. And if somebody has a large number of open blocks in their calendar, then you know that person is, I'm not going to say they're not disciplined, but they aren't allocating their time to the best. And you're welcome to disagree with me. But I believe, for example, that you should have, whether it's fun time or social time or eating time or fitness time, you need to block off all that stuff, and you cannot just let that stuff happen when it's supposed to happen. You cannot leave it up to luck. You cannot leave it up to fate. You cannot leave it up to when I'm going to get to it. The people that I believe that I admire, that are my mentors in life, that are doing things that are absolutely amazing, don't have any open blocks in their calendar. Even if you're the kind of company who runs, like you're a consultant, and people can make appointments for you, you have those blocks allocated in your calendar. Let's say you take appointments every Wednesday and Thursday from 10 o'clock to 2. That's in your calendar. It's hard-coded, and people know they can only get you for that before that 8-block period. If they want you Monday or Tuesday, it's out. If they want you Friday, it's out. You've got an 8-block window every single week, and all of the other time you have allocated to your disciplines, which is your fitness, your business, your budgeting, things like that. So do me a favor and stop committing this sin of success, or even better, this sin of lack of success, and get this disciplined mindset. I really wish I could whip out a book called Just Discipline. That would be on the title. Discipline, 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 because that to me, controls everything else we have going on in life. Once you've got the disciplines going, once you've got those habits going, everything else just falls into place. If you've got a marketing discipline, and your marketing discipline makes you, $500 a week, and that's and you're wanting to get to the point where you're going to grow to maybe $10,000 a week. You did certain things very well to get to $500 a week, and then you just have to repeat those things and scale those things and be disciplined about those things every single week. And for those of you that do phone sales, for example, you know how this works. You've figured out, or you should figure out pretty soon, that you have to make X number of phone calls to get X number of appointments, and you have to get X number of appointments to get X number of proposals and sales out the door. And so you can always back into your numbers. And again, you have to learn your numbers, but once you've learned your numbers, you can very easily back into them. Sales has to do with, you need one sale, and maybe it takes 10 phone calls to get one sale, and maybe it makes 100 dials to get 10 phone calls in to get that one sale. That's just a discipline. And then you have to make those 100 calls a week. It's basic math. And people don't realize that discipline is really simple like that sometimes. You just do the same thing repetitively over and over again, and all of a sudden you've arrived at the goal, or at the place you want to be when you started the discipline in the first place. So I'm kind of curious your take on discipline. If you're listening on the podcast, find a place to comment. I'm not hard to find on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment below. And if you're watching on Facebook, live below. But what have you learned from being a more disciplined person? Like your comments on this. What have you learned by doing those small daily disciplines, those small daily habits, which have helped you accomplish bigger and better things? And I'm also kind of curious, and this is more for the other people that watch and be reading the comments, what did you have to eliminate in your life, or in your business, or in your working, if you're hustle and flow, if you're like that phrase? What did you have to eliminate to get to the point where you got your daily disciplines in? I would love to know all that about you. As I mentioned earlier, do me a favor very much, and I would appreciate this. Subscribe on iTunes and give us a rating on iTunes. Subscribe on Spotify and give us a rating on Spotify. On Facebook, if you're not a big fan person, hop over to the Stop Doing Nothing fan page. We got 30,000 plus fans, and I want you to be one of them. And on YouTube, do me a favor, also like, follow, get notified, and you can also friend me on Facebook. I'm an open book when it comes to social media. Thank you for watching. Now do me a favor, get off your ass, get back into discipline mode, because the disciplines are going to give you the things in life, and those things in life are going to bring you your happiness and allow you to do bigger and better things for your family and for other people. As always, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow.